Luo Feng unexpectedly discovered a portal leading to a planet in another world. This is a wasteland after the destruction of nuclear war, where all humanity has died, and only Luo Feng is on the entire planet. Fortunately, there are still countless remnants of black technology and resources remaining. Ding! You have found a robot. Ding! You have found lithography machine technology. Ding! You have found 100 tons of gold. Ding! You have found a high-tech cruiser. In summary, the entire planet is Luo Feng. At the beginning, as a state-owned enterprise scrap steel recycler, Luo Feng set his sights on an abandoned warship from another world when his targets could not be met. Shortly thereafter, the behemoth was brought back to the company. Suddenly, the whole country was shocked. Hey guy, let you recycle scrap metal and bring back a warship directly. Luo Feng. What? Warships are not considered scrap metal. They still have over 10,000 tons. Novel keywords. Let you recycle scrap iron, bring back 10,000-ton battleships without pop-ups, let you recycle scrap iron, bring back 10,000-ton battleships. Download the complete TXT collection, let you recycle scrap iron, bring back the latest chapters of 10,000-ton battleships. Chapter 1. Scrap Recycler. 800-ton mission target. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Scrap Recycler. 800-ton mission target. Eurochain Gene.26 Group Purchasing Group. How many buyers do you have, except for a few? They all eat dry rice. It's almost the end of the month now, how many targets have been completed? There are a total of 25 people in the group. The group leader is Li Baishan. The position is the Deputy Director of Oji Chain Gold Company, Limited, a subsidiary of Huaxia Baochang Iron and Steel Group. The company is a first-level subsidiary of the group. The business is to create a sample base for upgrading the metal recycling resource industry with ship dismantling as its core feature. The entire company expects to process and distribute 1.5 million tons of scrap steel throughout the year. Simply put, it means specifically searching for abandoned ships and dismantling them for recycling. Savatica, sir, do you want to make a push oil? It's very cheap, only 5,000 Thai baht. No need, just help me tidy up the room. The cleaning lady looked regretfully at the handsome boy Luo Feng in front of the computer. Not continuing to promote their unique and distinctive services. Start cleaning the house seriously. As a Chinese boy who stayed in their hotel continuously for 7 or 8 days. She was very clear that although she didn't want to throw $1,000, she never felt like she was short of money. In just 7 or 8 days, I have already spent 100,000 Thai baht in the hotel. Equivalent to around 20,000 Chinese coins. The players on the Southeast Asian server are so mediocre that they don't have much fun playing. However, in the group. Has the director started cursing again? After playing a game, Luo Feng saw the news of the group director scolding his mother and licked his face with a smile. He was also grateful that if he hadn't been able to enter the modern mysterious planet that had been destroyed, left empty with only a piece of wreckage and unknown level of civilization, he would probably have been trained just like them. Luo Feng, why don't you help me get a few abandoned boats? This guy is in Bangkok, soaking in a hotel and playing games online. I don't think he has time to help you. Envy Luo Feng, after only 10 days in Southeast Asia, the task has been completed. Has this guy been leisurely for more than 10 days? The end of the month will be in 7 or 8 days, I'm really worried that the indicators won't be completed. In the director's procurement team. Everyone naturally dares not chat randomly. But there are 24 purchasers, and there is also a separate small group. This is simply a group of complaints. Luo Feng doesn't even like to open it. The messages sent every day are all kinds of complaints. I also really want to help you, but Southeast Asian girls are too enthusiastic and busy asking me to bring points, there's nothing I can do. Luo Feng is well aware that helping one is possible, but what would other colleagues think? So not helping is the best choice. Hey, Xiaofeng, what are you doing? Luo Fengdao said, Director, I'm at the beach. I just contacted a few fishermen and obtained several 18-year-old old diesel ships from them. There are a total of 7 or 8 tons of scrap steel. Damn it. Is it interesting to play games in hotels every day? Which dog is beating my little report? Luo Feng immediately breathed out a fragrant aroma. As the most excellent purchaser under Li Baishan, he received monthly bonuses, afraid that only he dared to speak like that. Don't rush to curse yet. Your abilities are evident to everyone. The situation is quite critical this time, and our group's expected indicators are still far behind this month. Don't spend all your time playing games in the hotel. If you have the ability, go do things and share more with our group. Upon hearing this, Luo Feng reluctantly said, there's still so much missing. It's about 800 tons. How can you let me help you? Let's calculate. Even if an average ship costs 2 tons of scrap steel, it still needs 400 pieces, right? It's not that you can handle it alone. Even if you're awesome, it's still 800 tons. You can pass on your experience to everyone. All the backup sellers have contributed, and you 24 should work hard. There are still 7 or 8 days left, and there is still hope. As long as the targets are met this time, I can help you apply for the position you want. As soon as it comes to this. Luo Feng's eyes lit up. How about playing big this time? Little Sister's new book. Writing a defendant in the same humanity, my husband turns out to be a giant in the literary world, a novel written by a copycat. You can go and read it. Little Sister is very beautiful and can be teased. Find the first 3 chapters and the end page of this article, where there is a link to read the book directly. A friend's new book, writing about a defendant in the same humanities, my husband turns out to be a literary giant, is a novel written by a copycat. If you are interested, you can go and read it. The main story is about the protagonist's wife being a movie queen, and the protagonist wrote a novel about her in the same humanities entertainment industry. Without her knowledge, she asked her legal department to find her husband. The result was exposed, and her husband wrote 4 famous works, including Ghost Blowing the Lamp, Tomb Robbing Notes, Harry Potter, and so on. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The Magic Ring, Crossing the Starry Sky. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The Magic Ring, Crossing the Starry Sky. Director, I'll try my best, but if I can't meet the target, I'll have no bottom line. After all, there's still 800 tons left. Hahaha, as long as you agree, it depends on human factors, just work hard. Hanging up Li Baishan's phone, Luo Feng pinched his tired brow from playing games. It seems that this comfortable day can come to an end today. Picking up the phone on the table, Luo Feng called out. Sha Chu, isn't it in Bangkok? Of course. Bangkok is a paradise on earth. How about not playing more? Xiaofeng, why don't you come over and I'll find 2 sisters for you? It only costs 20,000 Thai baht. You know how to play and sing. Upon hearing the other person speak less fluent Chinese, Luo Feng's expression stiffened slightly, and he immediately said seriously, don't joke, rest early today. There is a project to be done tomorrow, you can help me salvage a big one. Big guy, how big is it? Is it even bigger than the 18-meter diesel ship last time? Luo Feng said, that's for sure. The ship is very big, so I'm afraid you won't be able to get on it. Our salvage team has no problem with large ships below 30 meters. Upon hearing the other person's confident tone, Luo Fengling snorted and smiled, oh, listen, you should be able to get a crane ship with a single arm lifting capacity of 10,000 tons, right? A 10,000-ton crane vessel. Kid, are you going to salvage a warship? Just say if we can get it. Luo Feng didn't leave a trace. We don't have a salvage team, but we can go find one. But the cost of a 10,000-ton crane is not low, Shachu said nonchalantly. But looking back, this guy doesn't like to joke and asked solemnly, by the way, do you really want to go salvage a warship? Don't worry about that much, I'll cover all the expenses, and you won't lose any of your money. Luo Feng knew that there must be a reasonable source for the abandoned ship brought by that mysterious planet. The reasonable source is naturally salvage from the sea or river. Although it's a bit troublesome. But the victory lies in rationality. Isn't it just a difference of 800 tons from the target? Is it enough for labor to give you 10,000 tons? Hanging up Shashu's phone, Luo Feng first closed the outer door of the suite tightly and told the waiter that he was sleeping, and the hotel suite did not need to be cleaned or disturbed. Then I went into the bedroom of the suite and then into the bathroom, with deep eyes looking into the toilet. Of course, if it were someone else. See this toilet. It may just be given by Ali inside. But what Luo Feng saw was a starry sky. Feeling the ring in his hand, Luo Feng skillfully turned it in both directions 2 and 3 times. The ring lit up slightly and projected a bright light towards the toilet. Immediately, a starry sky really appeared in the toilet. Without hesitation, Luo Feng jumped in. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Companion Robot Xiaomei. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Companion Robot Xiaomei Hula. It can only be seen that the environment around Luo Feng is rapidly changing. Firstly, it goes through the sewer and then to the small river in the suburbs. Then fly up to the sky at the speed of light from an unmanned river. Breaking through the atmosphere. Afterwards, there was a few minutes of rapid space skimming. Finally, it landed in a small coastal town on a super-large planet. This is a suburb of a city full of ruins by the seaside. Abandoned small boats can be seen everywhere on the beach. Although it has been transported by Luo Feng, there are still many left. In the pitch-black night by the seaside, no artificial light or anyone could be seen, but the starry sky was very clear. Even if it wasn't just a single glance at the night sky, Luo Feng looked at it for a while in a daze. A whirring sea breeze came in my ear. The air is very dry with some dust smell. As for this magical ring, of course, it was found by Luo Feng in the antique city. After research, it was found that this should be an alien interstellar travel ring. And there is storage space, enough to accommodate 5 football fields. As for why the ring appeared on Earth, Luo Feng is not sure. Even an ordinary small boat cannot meet the target with 100 boats. We can only rely on that big guy. Luo Feng looked at the far northwest seaside and remembered that there were warships moored. It is said to be a warship, but in fact, in this small coastal town, Luo Feng felt that it was just some personal armament. Of course, good warships anchored at sea. Naturally, it cannot be directly taken over. After all, the excuse was salvaged from the bottom of the sea, so the warships brought over here must also be abandoned warships that sank to the bottom of the sea. Motorcycle out. Luo Feng snapped his fingers, and another off-road motorcycle came out of the ring. I rode for about a minute. We arrived at a large pit. This is a small campsite temporarily organized by Luo Feng. After checking for a while, there was no sign of anyone flipping over their small camp. Welcome home, master. Luo Feng. Xiaomei, you are very beautiful today. Does the master want to touch it? Cough cough, no need today. Luo Feng's blush. I remember when I first found this companion robot on a different planet. I am still very excited. After all, I glanced at that figure. It's like stepping out of the anime. In addition, Luo Feng dressed her in a earth-black silk high-heeled skirt. Take care of your eyes. But in the end, Luo Feng only set her up as a nanny robot, not as a couple. Otherwise, I'll see my husband go home now. I will come forward and give myself a warm kiss. Luo Feng has always thought that with such high technology, if we go to mass production on Earth there shouldn't be any girls left, right? A friend's new book, writing about a defendant in the same humanities, My Husband Turns Out to Be a Literary Giant, is a novel written by a copycat. If you are interested, you can go and read it. The main story is about the protagonist's wife being a movie queen, and the protagonist wrote a novel about her in the same humanities entertainment industry. Without her knowledge, she asked her legal department to find her husband. The result was exposed, and her husband wrote 4 famous works, including Ghost Blowing the Lamp, Tomb Robbing Notes, Harry Potter, and so on. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. I Need a 10,000-Ton Battleship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. I Need a 10,000-Ton Battleship. Does the owner need to arm the yacht? Just a few boats parked by the seaside. However, this is also because the technological level of Miaoxiang country is relatively low. When switching to other countries, the armed yachts of the wealthy are also much more advanced than this. After Luo Feng told Xiaomei about the warship. Sure enough, in this seaside town, this is just a wealthy armed yacht. But on Earth's side, it belongs entirely to the military level. Luo Feng has also observed that the wealthy armed yachts here have a similar appearance to the battleships on the other side of the Earth, with little difference in structure, but only slightly advanced in dynamics. If I can't get by and labor salvage a suspected alien warship in the sea, is it none of my business? Do you doubt that labor and capital can go to outer space? Of course, many details will be arranged by Luo Feng to be erased by Xiaomei, and the probability of it being an extraterrestrial object is not high. You don't need to park on the beach, just find a way to help me salvage the sunken one. I instructed Xiaomei to handle these things. Luo Feng took out a big bag from the ring. Inside is a high-end protective suit. There is also a filter mask. Mountaineering shoes. Wilderness tents. Windshields and other things. In addition, there are gravity meters, radiation detection needles, air humidity meters, and so on. Get on the motorcycle again. I started to explore this seaside small city. Continuously exploring this planet is something that Luo Feng must do. Of course, some people may say that since a ring can send people to outer space and travel through many galaxies, why can't you take Luo Feng out of this coastal city? Luo Feng can't do anything about it. This ring is within the flying range of this planet, right within this city. Perhaps this coastal small city is a country, so when you go abroad, you have to apply for a visa, right? The setting of the ring is that it can only leave the planet and cannot go abroad. Outside the planet, everyone can go, while within the country, flying around is not allowed. However, when walking around the coastal city, Luo Feng usually uses ground tools and rings that are too fast, making it difficult to see things clearly. After waiting for a few hours to return, Xiaomei has cooperated with other robots to salvage the warship. Luo Feng changed hands and put the warship into the ring. That's all for today. It's also evening on Earth's side. Let's go back and have some food first. Let's go. I touched the travel ring. After 2 rounds of forward and reverse rotation, the coastal city above the wasteland disappeared before Luo Feng's eyes in the blink of an eye. Little Sister's new book. Writing a defendant in the same humanity, My Husband Turns Out to Be a Giant in the Literary World, a novel written by a copycat. You can go and read it. Little Sister is very beautiful and can be teased. Find the first 3 chapters and the end page of this article, where there is a link to read the book directly. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. There Really Are Warships, I Found Treasure. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. There Really Are Warships, I Found Treasure. Dude. There really are warships sinking. It's a real warship. Good guy. The next morning. Looking at the sonar display, it's really a big ship. Xiachu, standing on the crane boat, still spoke in disbelief. Brother, as long as you learn more about the history of World War I and World War II, warships can still be easily found. Faced with Luo Feng's blind deception, Xiachu, who was carefree, didn't delve deeper. Instead, he grinned and said, "That's a good relationship. In the future, don't make small boats and come to such warships." When I say easy, it's not something that can be easily found, is it? We still need to research more. Xiachu looked at the warships being salvaged step by step and said, "But brother, this warship should have been left by Westerners back then, and there's also English." Perhaps. Luo Feng nodded, knowing that he needed to do the entire set in the play. The English spray paint has also been specially treated. Otherwise, all the characters on the warship are from aliens. And we have also investigated this area, where many warships have gone missing or sunk. A large portion of warships, with their models not recorded, can take advantage of this. What a big warship! Ha ha ha. As the battleship's basic appearance was revealed, Xiachu's face was filled with a wild smile. This one, even if he only takes a 10% share. So the profit is quite substantial. Follow what Luo Feng said. A 13,000-ton battleship would have at least 10,000 tons of scrap steel after dismantling. The current international price for scrap steel ranges from 2,500 to 3,000 yuan per ton. The steel used for warships must be of high quality. The price of 3,000 yuan per ton is reasonable. However, considering the huge dismantling cost, the only amount received is 2,500 yuan per ton. So 10,000 tons. I just received 25 million yuan. A 10% profit would be 2.5 million yuan. For small salvage companies, this is just 1 year's income. For Luo Feng, apart from necessary expenses, he received 20 million yuan in this money. A salvage and transportation cost of 2.5 million is sufficient. Everyone, it's the end of the month and the task hasn't been completed. What should we do now? Who completed it? This is a wrong decision. We have been sweeping up old ships in Southeast Asia for 4 or 5 consecutive months, and there aren't many left. We also purchased a yarn. But according to the investigation above, there are still many abandoned ships waiting to be acquired here. There's still a lot left. Let them do it themselves. Don't patronize roast, think about how to face the anger of the director. The director actually knows that it's not easy for everyone, but he can't help it either. In the blink of an eye, 7 or 8 days had passed. I saw that everyone in the group was roast. Various worries about being punished. Luo Feng just planned to give everyone a sedative. Don't be sad, everyone. Isn't it just 800 tons short of the group target? We have already exceeded the task. Waiting for the director to hold a celebration banquet for us. Asterisk 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 dot. After the news of Luo Feng was posted in the small group, a long string of question marks directly greeted Luo Feng. 23 people. Completely bewildered. Are you joking? 800 tons. Completed. Still exceeding the completion limit. Are you sure it's not making everyone happy? You said you, Luo Feng, have completed your task and come to make everyone happy, right? Is it reasonable? Is there morality? The director also said that you should share your experience and lead everyone to acquire more. It is important to achieve more. But this guy. I don't know where to go after a few days. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. 10,000 tons. Did you complete the task alone? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 10,000 tons. Did you complete the task alone? I'm not joking with everyone. I've been trying to figure out a solution for the 800-ton quota these past few days. But I think it's too late to just go through the rural households and purchase scrap ships in Southeast Asia. So I pointed my sword to the side. Speaking of which, Luo Feng. Everyone, look at his serious tone. I also started to feel a bit skeptical. Can we say that 800 tons have really been completed? It's impossible. Even if the sword points to the side. It's not possible either. Jianji Pianfeng. What does it mean? I don't understand. Recycling abandoned ships, can you still point your finger at the side? Is it too late to recycle the abandoned ships? How about you recycle a warship? Upon hearing this, Luo Feng chuckled and messaged in the group, saying, I really got a warship. Oh. What's going on? Sleeping slot. What's going on? What are you joking about? Luo Feng, once I'm sure, you can make fun of us. Recycling a warship. Who would sell you this thing? Yeah, not to mention anything else, even if a warship is abandoned, the country's official would usually dismantle it as scrap steel to prevent it from being sold. Our level is not enough to contact the official of a certain country, is it? Everyone is confused. For Luo Feng, a warship was recovered. I really don't believe it. That's right, our level, how could we possibly be in contact with the official of a certain country? After all, warships are usually in the hands of the official. But what if we are working with a salvage company? Luo Feng said this sentence. Everyone suddenly realized. What do you mean, there's a salvage team? We've salvaged the warship. Where was it salvaged? Do you currently know which country's sunken warship it was? What is the name? What is the model number? What is the tonnage? 800 tons. Is this really one step ahead? Silly lacking, a warship with a tonnage of at least a few thousand tons must have hit the mark in one step. Damn it, let you recycle scrap steel. Did you get a warship? Faced with a large group of people asking questions, Luo Feng didn't know where to start. After thinking for a moment, he said, it's unclear when the warship sank, which country it was from, and what model it was. However, currently known, the spray-painted logo on the warship is in English, with a tonnage of around 13,000 tons. It is expected that after dismantling, there will be 10,000 tons of steel. A tonnage of 13,000 tons. This is the scale of cruisers in the 1980s. Where is it? Have you salvaged it yet? It's also quite difficult to transport it back, isn't it? Apply a few days' time to the director. If you want to salvage, you need to first find a 10,000-ton crane ship, which is not easy to find. End of this chapter. Chapter 7, I think the director will be confused. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7, I think the director will be confused. Luo Feng spoke up and said, don't worry, the things have already been salvaged and shipped. They are currently anchored at the port of Beitar. They will be towed back to China when the time comes. This warship can still float. Great, Luo Feng, you're really YYSD in our group. Did you really complete the task this time? With an 800-ton target, you came with 10,000 tons, you're amazing. Don't listen to the director's coercion anymore. Does the director know about this news? Hahaha, you didn't curse in the group just now, did you? How about we be a little bad and transport the things back to our country to give the director a big surprise? Hahaha, I agree, I completely agree. I just like to see the director's bewildered expression. A warship of 10,000 tons, complete the target in one step. Luo Feng, you kid, that's enough. I think the director will definitely be scared out. That's not true. The target for all staff is only 2,000 tons, and Luo Feng alone managed 10,000 tons. That's it. The bad ideas of 23 purchasers came along. Everyone shares a grudge against each other. After discussion, we kept this matter hidden. Give the director a big surprise. But suddenly, in the director group, Li Baishan defeated all the staff. Hey! It's the end of the month, everyone has packed their things. Let's go back to China tomorrow. If you don't work hard this time, the department's promotion quota will be much less. This is also a sin created by yourselves. Remember, those who haven't completed the task, come back and write a review. For those weighing less than 50 tons, you can handle it yourself. How can you calm the minister's anger? Don't say I'll use you as a shield when the time comes. 1 or 2, can't they be like Luo Feng? They only completed 100 tons in just a dozen days this month. A target of 2,000 tons. On average of 23 points, each person naturally has a task of around 87 tons. Except for Luo Feng, only a few people have achieved the target this month. Isn't it just about writing a review? Director, let's just write it. If the minister wants to scold me, let him scold me, I'll stand up. Li Jun, no need. You were already scolded last month, I'll take care of you this month. It's okay to make the director angry. We 23 of us will handle these things and not let the director be scolded. These kids. What does it mean? Why didn't you complete the task? Are you still speaking so hard? After this set of operations, Li Baishan became confused and didn't know what to say. But when it comes to angry words, Li Baishan's protector of the calf is well known, and he wouldn't even use his subordinates as scapegoats. I will resist all the anger from above. The director is starting to feel a bit confused now. I am looking forward to the director's even more bewildered expression when the things are brought back to China. Don't even talk about the director, I think even the minister should be fooled. Overall, we have exceeded the quota by about 9,000 tons. Our group is sure to be selected as an excellent group this month. I estimate there will be a bonus of several 100,000 yuan, and everyone's monthly salary will be divided into an extra 10,000 yuan. I suggest everyone raise money privately and hold a party for Luo Feng, after all, it's all their credit. Reconsideration. Do you want to go to the Demon City Heaven and Earth Club, Brother Feng? I'll find you 10 at a price of 2,000. See if you've eaten my Feng brother and vomited. Watching everyone so happy. Why is Luo Feng unhappy? Previously, when going abroad to purchase steel, Luo Feng completed about 100 tons per month. Most of it was brought over from that planet. The money earned is only a few 100,000. And this time, it's almost 100 times more. Monthly income of millions. This is a perfect sense of achievement. But Luo Feng knew that there was a different world in hand, and these were just superficial. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. The director is foolish, what is this? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. The director is foolish, what is this? On the day of the first, the plane slowly landed in Mordo. The headquarters and subsidiary of Huaxia Baochang Iron and Steel Group, Europe Metallurgical Chain Gold, are both located in Magic City. It's just that the location is different. Of course, the plane came over in the morning. The abandoned warships being towed took a day and a night to arrive at the port of Mordo at the same time. Are you guys still laughing? I don't know if you still have any mood to laugh when the task is not completed. I don't know, I thought you really came back from traveling abroad. I've arranged a hotel, had a meal, and everyone has returned to the company. I'll have a meeting first, and we can't continue to be depressed next month. Should I say it or not? Li Baishan's mouth was full of curses. But I have nothing to say to the people under my banner. Just come to the airport to pick up the person in person. The dinner has also been arranged. Director, what hotel are we going to for dinner at? Yeah, I need to ask about this first. After eating Southeast Asian food for a month, I really miss the domestic cuisine. I vomited from eating seafood. Director, please don't order watery dishes later. No water. Isn't the rice with water? Women still carry water, so don't touch it anymore. Looking at the angry expression on the director's face, everyone was not afraid at all, but rather had a hint of mockery. Everyone started joking. Of course it's the Jianbian Hotel. Do you think you're still going to a 5-star hotel? If you have food, it's good. The hotel mentioned by the director. Nature is the reception desk of the company. The company is located in the suburbs. There needs to be a place to settle down in the city center. I think, director, let's book the Oriental Hotel instead. Yes, this time it's not at the level of Oriental Hotel, we're all too lazy to go. What does it mean? I haven't completed the task yet, and I'm still thinking about the Oriental Hotel. That's not something from a long time ago, Li Baishan said correctly. Since the change of department head, they have always been arranged to places with insufficient supply of goods. How can we complete the task? If there is sufficient supply of goods, at least every month all employees will exceed their personal targets. The meaning is very simple. The director will follow us to the port to have a look. Despite having 10,000 doubts in my heart. Or, in other words, there is also some speculation in my heart. But Li Baishan still drove the Audi in a somewhat obscure manner, bringing along a few people such as Luo Feng. Heading towards the port of the enchanted city. Xiaomei, have you found some major source of goods and disposed of dozens of large abandoned ships? It shouldn't be. You can't do so much alone in a short period of time. Unless everyone works together. Along the way, Li Baishan kept asking endless questions. But Luo Feng laughed but remained silent. They said they waited at the port and knew everything. Selling tricks here with the director. That's just Luo Feng. If it were someone else, Li Baishan would have cursed his mother long ago and would love to say anything. What is this? End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Asks you to collect scrap metal and bring back a warship. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 9 asks you to collect scrap metal and bring back a warship. By the port, Li Baishan had hardly reached the parking lot yet. I can see from afar the vast object anchored by the river. Almost on the same level as the cargo ships that transport it. But that thing has a domineering shape. It looks much more imposing than a large cargo ship. A large cargo ship is an elephant, and this thing is definitely a big tiger. Warships. It's a warship. How could a warship appear in this place? Ha ha ha, director, don't get too excited. This is our surprise for you, the old-fashioned warship brought back by Xiaomei. Li Jun, who was on the passenger side, laughed heartily. Seeing the director's bewildered expression. It's really refreshing and full of energy. Warship. What do you mean? Didn't you go to Southeast Asia to recycle scrap iron? Yeah, director, isn't a warship considered scrap metal? After dismantling it, there are 10,000 tons. Good guy. Until now. The director finally understood. The surprise you mentioned is this 10,000 tons of scrap steel. No, it's a 10,000-ton class warship. How did these people get this thing? Director, I know you have to ask, how did you get it? It's simple, it was salvaged, and the cost was around 2 million. Luo Feng explained. Li Baishan was a bit speechless, looking at the huge creature in the distance and swallowing the waterway. Have you figured out the ownership of this thing? Upon seeing this, Luo Feng confidently said, that's near the port of Bateau, and the ownership belongs to the salvagers. Otherwise, would I have to pay a few $1 million to salvage it for their country? Li Baishan also breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly pulled down the handbrake before getting off the car. He looked over and said, what a big warship, with English letters. It looks like the warship that sank in the West back then. Although it looks rusty and mottled. But those English letters are still very eye-catching. By the way, Director, don't spread the news about salvaging the warship to avoid unnecessary disputes. Luo Feng said, casting a look that you understand. After all, the current situation. It's the big tiger empire the final say. If we persuade those Western countries to return it, although ownership is not a problem, it will inevitably cause trouble. Don't worry, we will strictly keep it a secret. I just think, shouldn't we dismantle this thing first? Upon hearing this, Luo Feng immediately stared and said, why? At least it's also a warship. Let's first study the structure and see if it's okay. Before Li Baishan could finish speaking, Luo Feng chuckled and said, no way, Director. Do you think there's anything else to study about the technological level of a warship from decades ago? Now, our most backward one is also more advanced than this one, right? I can't say that. It's possible that in a certain field, our domestic warship level is not as strong as other countries back then. It's always good to study it first. Sure enough, it was Li Baishan who saw something that others couldn't see. I immediately called the War Department. Called the professionals over there to come over. First, take a look at the structure of this warship. If there is no advanced technology, then steel can be dismantled and recycled. Whatever. At first, Luo Feng was a bit worried, but then he was relieved. If something is discovered through research. Anyway, I salvaged it from the sea. Even if extraterrestrial technology is discovered, Luo Feng can still evade it. But by then, will Luo Feng be considered a hero in discovering high-tech warship technology? Let's go, Little Wind, Oriental Hotel. Today, I'll clean up the dust for everyone. Li Baishan looked at his phone while the minister sent congratulations in a daze, smiling uncontrollably. He pulled Luo Feng into the car, like a child who had just received red envelopes. Subsequently, the Audi car returned to its original path. Arrived at the airport. After calling everyone, they headed towards the direction of the Oriental Hotel. End of this chapter. 10, Chapter 10. Go to Tianyuan Planet again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Go to Tianyuan Planet again. Working in a steel group, especially as a purchaser abroad, actually makes a decent living. The first 3 days of the month are holidays. For the remaining 27 days or so, we will be purchasing scrap ships everywhere in foreign countries. Summarize and deliver to the company at the end of the month. Well, at the end of the month, Luo Feng transported back a warship and summarized it. So the first 3 days of the month are considered holidays. Continue working until the 4th. Don't be fooled by the fact that compared to those state-owned enterprise office workers, there are 8 days of rest time per month. But if you can purchase scrap iron abroad and complete the task in less than 10 days, like Luo Feng, that day will actually take off gracefully. But if you don't meet the target, your legs will break every day. Fun and fun are crazy. Tragedy is always tragedy. Okay, Director, thank you. Give me an extra 5 days vacation, right? Alright, I'll go back and have some fun. For 3 days, Luo Feng generally won't come back to his hometown. But this time, the director actually gave an extra 5 days. No matter what, Luo Feng will have to go back. There's no way, if we get a warship and don't talk about its research value, we'll just dismantle it as scrap steel, which is also in the 10,000-ton class. Recyclers like Luo Feng are given an extra 5 days of vacation every month for a year, and they are actually not at a disadvantage. How many tasks did Luo Feng complete alone? Otherwise, would Li Baishan be so generous? Luo Feng's hometown is in Hangzhou. This time, although Luo Feng can take shuttle buses or high-speed trains, it is not necessary. Money is capricious. Arrange the flight tickets directly. Don't immerse yourself in reality, parallel world. Although the two places are close, there are also flights. Returning home, Luo Feng, who had not returned home for half a year, must have been arranged a large table of food by his parents. It's as lively as the Chinese New Year. Of course, such enthusiasm is not only due to Luo Feng being their biological son, but also to the fact that in the past few months, all the news we have heard is that his son has been receiving bonuses every month in state-owned enterprises and has exceeded his tasks. What makes parents unhappy when they hear this? After eating and drinking at night, Luo Feng tightly closed the door to his bedroom room. Take out the mysterious ring and start heading towards the alien planet. After about 3 minutes of interstellar travel, Luo Feng once again arrived at this coastal city in another world. It's not considered a different world, it belongs to the same time and space, but it is indeed an alien. End of this chapter.